much for the very effective and fruitful final roundtable. Thank you very much for this, and also for the message. We have to be more concrete, and then few words just for mentioning you, showing you what we plan to do for the next steps. So, our vision, you know our vision. The idea here is to have an international permanent platform of policymakers, representatives of the research and innovation, business and finance communities, sharing their expertise, their stories, and promoting altogether research and innovation and policies in the food, nutrition, security, and safety area, but at the global state, at the global scale. The mission is to try to host, implement the legacy of Expo Milan 2015 through international biannual events designed by 4 platforms of key experts and private-public stakeholders addressed to boost sustainable food, nutrition, and security and safety in Europe and in the major emerging countries. This was this is our vision, our mission, but you know this because we mentioned this last year in Milan at the first event. So Europe, Italy, and the Emilia-Romagna will be the place for regular meetings that we are convening to develop new models of cooperation between governments, international institutions, business and research, and innovation actors involving the most important players on the global scale. This to define the major needs for research and innovation policies and actions to put in place at the international fourth sector. The next steps. In October this year, we will have the first meeting of strategic platforms. 2017, we will have an international scientific event in which we will continue discussing some of the priorities identified during this event. And 2018, we will have the new edition of the World Food Research and Innovation Forum. The platforms, we are planning to put in place 4 distinct platforms. One is an international steering committee consisting of 10 high-level international experts. A second platform, international, bringing together strategic partners, 15 institutions, international agencies and organizations. A third platform, bringing together the different stakeholders, 20 coming from the global food private area, so food companies, but also SMEs, and the other 20 are coming from university and public research centers and actors. And then finally, a scientific regional platform consisting of experts and representatives for the main innovation networks that we have on place. These are the technical details, and then I leave the floor to my colleague from the other actions or our implement of this thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fabio, and good afternoon to you all. I guess now, in terms of shaping the agenda, a few considerations that will guide how the agenda will be shaped, and definitely the relevance of the forum. And I believe that you will agree with me that through the discussions we've had over the last couple of days, the relevance of a global and strategic forum like the one that was envisaged by the region of Emilia-Romagna was actually quite well illustrated. We have clearly heard that there was a need for more knowledge and technology transfer, and for those who were here yesterday, you've heard the notion that was introduced by Dr. De Vries essentially the notion of co-evolution and accompanying essentially that knowledge and technology transfer. We've heard the need for mobilization of resources, whether be it for research, for innovation, for food safety, for food security and sustainability. And the fact that we have interdependent agendas call for the alignment of these agendas, and particularly for fostering partnerships. And this was further reiterated today in the different discussions. And that's what the agenda of the forum will strive at doing. Now, obviously, an initiative of this nature has a likelihood of success only if a number of key ingredients are present. And the first ingredient is to have robust anchors. And I believe that this initiative has at least two anchors that will solidify the forum's action in the future. The first one is the leadership on the part of the region of Emilia-Romagna, as was expressed by Minister Caselli, Minister Costi, as well as President Bonaccini. And this leadership and this commitment will be indispensable to carry a legacy from Expo 2015 of this nature. The second anchor is a tradition that this region has in bringing together food actors and being the host of one of the largest fairs of food actors that is happening, in fact, at the same time right now, being also the host of one of the leading agencies at the food regulatory level will probably bring a guarantee that this region could be and will be a focal point that brings together actors, stakeholders, and players in the food area. Of course, as a new initiative as well, the World Food Forum will build on these foundations and on these anchors, and will aim to realize the vision that was presented by Professor FAVA by actually drawing on your recommendations. And one of the recommendations that we've heard just now is combine talk with action. And the agenda will be shaped by attempting to combine the strategic thinking, the strategic discussions with structured actions, actions in areas where value added is clearly demonstrated, and some indications of where the value added may be evident is essentially illustrated through some of what was discussed yesterday and even before. Attempts to boost the food research and innovation agenda at the European and at the global level, aiming essentially to help concepts move from their status of concepts to implementation, moving small scale to larger scale operations. I mean, a number of initiatives were presented, and they may need a boost. They may need, obviously, the mobilization of resources that we mentioned, and hopefully the forum will provide an opportunity for that. A second element is the mobilization and the creation of synergies between initiatives and strategies that will be identified and discussed. And again, this morning's session about food finance and opportunities of funding and the way these could be leveraged could provide opportunities on how these initiatives could be further maximized in order to support food safety, security, sustainability, and the food research and innovation agenda, obviously aiming to support human and economic development. And in fostering the dialogue and in fostering these partnerships, the forum will aim to be an agenda setter and an influencer related to future direction of the food sector. Now, of course, the ability to bring together, and for this forum to be that focal point and to bring together the various actors, the various players, whether be it the food and agriculture sector, food regulators, academia, consumers, development, funding organizations, will be very heavily dependent on you, on the collective support here. So I guess this is definitely a follow-up to the call for action that we've heard. This is an indication about how the agenda will be shaped in the future, but this will also be heavily relying on your continued commitment and your continued support. And I will end by a quote that I actually like to use in general for continuing initiatives that tend to be planned on the long run. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I believe that we want to go far, and I'm hopeful that we will continue to benefit from your support and your commitment. Again, thank you for your participation. I would like to thank all the organizers of the second edition of the World Food Forum for convening this meeting and shaping the future agenda. More is to come. And before ending, I would like to invite Her Excellency Minister Caselli to close the meeting. Thank you very much.